This is the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire Podcast, the only sex podcast for 7- and 8-figure conscious leaders who want to embody their pleasure and to have the best sex of their lives. I'm Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach in the world, and your host today. All right, multi-orgasmic millionaires, this is for those of you who are struggling with lack of sexual desire or low libido. I say low libido, but generally that's not what leads to your disinterest in sex or not really desiring sex. It's mostly what we call lack of sexual desire. And the difference between lack of libido and desire is that libido has to do with your body's capability of making the hormones necessary to even experience turn on and pleasure. Whereas lack of desire has to do with more of the emotional aspects and the way that you view yourself and your interpersonal things about how you view sex, how you view your body, how you view your partner, all of these things. So generally women struggle with lack of desire much more prevalently than they do with lack of libido. The first way that women tend to leak energy is by overgiving. If you have a demanding career, if you run a small business, these are things that can really cause you to overgive to your business, overgive to your partner, overgive to your friends, your community, your children, if you're a mom. All of these things can cause you to have a lack of sexual desire. And that's because it's draining your energy. Overgiving causes you to stress out. And since stress is the number one killer of sexual desire, then it's no wonder that if you overgive, then you aren't feeling very sexy. When you've got stress hormones like cortisol running through your body, you can't feel sexy because you're in a fight, flight, freeze mode. Your nervous system is fried, it's frazzled, all of these things, and you can't relax. You can only feel sexual desire when you're fully relaxed. So if you are an overgiver, I want you to ask yourself, why do you think you overgive? What is the reason for it? What do you think you're going to get out of overgiving? What are you afraid is going to happen if you do not overgive? And what would it look like to do the opposite, which is nourishing yourself first before you give to others? What would that actually look like? What would you do with your time? Where would you see yourself? Who would you be with? What would you hear around you? What would you feel in your body or touch with your hands? What would you smell? What would you taste if you weren't constantly overgiving? These are really amazing questions to begin to ask yourself, as many high-achieving women and conscious leaders are always giving to others. So it kind of goes back to all of the self-care basics, which I don't tend to talk about a lot because I feel that this is a topic that's covered by so many other coaches on so many other podcasts. There are thousands of podcasts just on self-care. But when it comes to lack of desire, low libido, things like that, it really means that we get to check in and see how you're doing with your self-care. Are you actually getting regular massages? Are you staying committed, fully committed to a morning pleasure ritual that I give in my 5 days to epic sex and pleasure free audio training and with all of my women who join my programs? Because getting you in that morning routine of having a way to drop into pleasure before anyone else gets any part of your day, it sets your day up for success. And because most of you aren't doing that, you're starting your day in a stress response, in I gotta fight, or I gotta go and do all of these things. I've got to get the kids off to school, or I've got 500 things to do for my business this morning. That is no way to start the day. So if that's how you've been doing it, you got to stop that, because it's not going to support you in having desire and feeling like a sensual and sexual woman. The second energy leak causing lack of desire or low libido is negative self-regard and self-talk. This one I have struggled with myself a lot because I am definitely my own worst critic and I'm super hard on myself. And so are a lot of high achieving women and conscious leaders out there who are doing all of the things and who are very well accomplished in their life. You're accomplished because your sense of worth and value probably came from those accomplishments, because your parents praised you if you got all the A's in school, or they gave you money because you got all the A's on your report card, and therefore your worth is tied into your accomplishments. So negative self-talk can be a really sticky one for high achievers like myself, and probably you as well. So the opposite of negative self-talk is positive self-regard and positive self-talk. I've had an experience with this recently, actually, where I got into this really dark space of feeling like nothing I ever do is enough, I'm never achieving enough, I'm never where I really want to be, and lack. So I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. And I had to have a serious check-in with myself to see how that was really affecting the results I was getting in my life, and to immediately shift and change the negative self-talk, because women especially, we can tend to the negative self-talk and self-regard more easily because of our hormones. I don't want to say I blame it on them, and I don't, but there are definitely certain times of the month where it becomes harder or more challenging to maintain positive self-talk and positive self-regard. And I definitely find that that's true in my own life. And during those times of the month, I get to be extra vigilant to listen to my affirmation sets and to do 5 minutes of speaking gratitudes to myself about all the things that are amazing about myself, and fully letting myself receive compliments from myself. Most of us seek these affirmations from our partner. We want our partner to tell us all the things that are amazing about ourselves, how well accomplished we are, how beautiful we are, how sexy we are, and all of that. And yet it's something that we really need to take responsibility for in and of ourselves, because our partner cannot give us all the love and attention that we crave in exactly the ways that we want it all of the time. And if you find yourself tending to negative self-talk and regard, then you cannot rely on your partner to reverse all of that for you. You've got to take responsibility for it, and to have more positive self-talk and regard for yourself. So one thing that I did recently to really shift myself out of that was to do a daily 5 minutes of giving myself compliments and words of affirmation, telling myself, you're so amazing for all that you've accomplished in your life, and it's absolutely enough, and look at where you came from, look at where you are today, and all of that stuff. So yeah, doing that practice alone can really shift how you feel about yourself, because if you feel down and in the dumps, then it's going to be very challenging to feel like a sexy woman in the bedroom and to have any sense of confidence. So if you're experiencing lack of desire, or low libido as you may call it, then check in with your self-talk. How's that going for you? All right, the third way that we tend to leak energy that causes lack of desire or low libido is having poor or no boundaries. This is a total energy drain. This is one of the most obvious, I think. Having boundaries is a way to remind yourself that you matter, that you are enough, to put your own needs first. If you don't put your own needs first by saying no to others, sometimes you can never really say yes to yourself. You have to say no sometimes, and women tend to suck at it. So discover what you want. Say yes when you mean yes, maybe when you mean maybe, and no when you mean no. Sexuality work is hands down the best way to learn boundaries, because you're working with your pussy, with your inner gatekeeper, and really discovering, what am I a yes to? What am I a full body yes to? What am I a full body no to? And if it's not a full fuck yes, then it's a no or a maybe. And then what gets to change to make it a yes if it's a maybe, right? So a lack of boundaries, what begins to happen with this in relationships is that resentment gets created. When you are not fully honoring your yeses, your nos, and your maybes, and you're saying no when you mean yes, or yes when you mean no, you are confusing your body. Your body is trying to give you the signal of, I'm a no to this, I'm a yes to this, and your brain is overriding it because of your conditioning that says, well, I have to have sex with my husband every now and then, otherwise he's going to leave me, or otherwise he's going to deem me an unfit wife, or whatever other crap that you have going on in your brain, whatever that story or programming is that we tend to all get, that is so not helpful in terms of having boundaries. So really tuning into your body and listening to your body. What is actually a yes for me? What's actually a no for me? Because if you don't, you're going to harbor resentment towards your partner, especially when it comes to saying yes to sex when you don't really want it, or when it's not the type of connection that you're really craving at the time. So having resentment for your partner obviously leads to a lack of desire for having sex with your partner. So why would you do it if you feel resentful towards them? Out of obligation. And that's what I find so many women doing, is that they don't know how to get what they deeply crave and desire from a sexual experience because they haven't learned sexual skills and relationship skills, like how to effectively talk about sex with their partner to get what they want from it. Okay, the fourth way that we leak energy that causes low libido or lack of desire is being nice all the time. If you feel that you have to be nice all the time, and that something bad would happen if you were to express yourself and your feelings, you will become exhausted. Why? Because you have a mask on. And having a mask on is very energetically draining. You are playing someone you're not. You're trying to be someone you're not, and pretending and holding up a fake persona of who you are is absolutely exhausting. It's okay if someone doesn't like you. It's okay if you get rejected. It's okay if someone doesn't think you are nice. You are not here to please and appease everyone else. You need to come to a place where you can build your power despite the fact that others might not like you. Yeah, it's true. Being someone you're not, it kills your sexual desire because it's inauthentic. There's no true connection. There's a lack of intimacy, which would feed your desire if you had it. But because you aren't truly connecting with your partner, because how could you? You're not even being you. Your partner is connecting with some fake version of you, and you're sitting here not being able to connect at all. Well, no wonder you don't desire sex. No wonder you lack libido. So stop being nice all the time, have an opinion, and the polarity will result in more sexual desire. The fifth way that we leak energy that causes low libido is not fully expressing ourselves sexually. So if you are someone who limits your sexual expression because of shame, guilt, fear, whatever it is, whatever stories or programs or little t and big T traumas you might be harboring, this will limit your sexual expression, which is like putting a lid on a pot of boiling water. And this is just leaking energy all over the place. This is exhausting to do as well, because when you're not fully expressing yourself, when you're not taking up space and letting yourself be seen in who you are, it's kind of going back to the inauthentic thing. It's making yourself small. It's putting a lid on who you really are, and you're trying to hold it all in, and it doesn't want to be contained, because you, as a feminine creature, want to express all of yourself, not just parts and pieces of it. But because you've put a limit on the sexual part of yourself, you're not expressing this part, and it's completely exhausting. So the opposite of limiting your sexual expression is to begin to express it and to unlock your sexual energy, to take the freaking lid off and to begin expressing it. So you can relax during sex, so you can have sex when you desire it, so you can celebrate your pleasure, so you can begin to unblock some stuck and stagnant energy that has built up in your system because you haven't let that lid off for so long. So my loves, if you want to stop with these energy leaks and really get your sexual desire back, that is something I have always helped women do. It's one of the biggest pain points and problems that women come to me for, is lack of sexual desire. And this is one of the pain points and issues that we really work through in Sex Goddess 5 months to total freedom in the bedroom. So if you are ready to reclaim your sexual desire for 2023, then I want to invite you to apply and sign up for Sex Goddess no later than January 1st, before one of the 4 Epic Sex New Year bonuses goes away. From now until January 22nd, I have 4 bonuses that you can take me up on, and each week one of them will go away through January 22nd. In the main program, Sex Goddess, I want to share a little bit about it because although I've shared that it used to be called Sensually Embodied Woman, and I did a version of it right after Thanksgiving, this is version 2.0, and 2.0 version is a big difference than version 1.0, and let me share what that means. If you want all of the details, you can certainly head to the link in the show notes to check out all of the details, exactly what the program is about, and see if it's the right fit for you. But I'll share briefly a little bit about the components of Sex Goddess 2.0. It is private coaching. It is not a group coaching program anymore. I am stopping doing group coaching for now, for the time being. I don't know how long, but for right now, it's just private coaching. I've gotten so much more pleasure from coaching people privately recently than in group, which is so interesting because I thought I loved group for so long, and for a while I did, but then I kind of shifted and changed. So anyway, private coaching. This includes my foolproof pleasurable sex coaching system to help you reclaim your sexuality and feel empowered, confident, and free in your body. You have 10 private sessions with me. They're 2 sessions per month, and we will start with just you. And if you have a willing partner who wants to do this, I put a big caveat in there, if they actually want to do this work with you, about halfway to 2/3 of the way through, we may invite them into some couples coaching sessions together, because about halfway to 2/3 of the way through working with me is when things really begin to shift in your relationship. So we want to work on you first and foremost to get you back where you want to be and feeling like a sex goddess and reclaiming your body and your sexuality. So then by the time that you have that going and you're feeling pretty solid there, then we bring in your partner and begin to work through whatever resentment or whatever fear or guilt still might be there between you and your partner. If your partner isn't open or willing to do it, it's totally not necessary at all. This can be an absolutely solo journey, but it's there if he wants to be a part. The second component of the program is your teachings and practices. So you'll be granted lifetime access to the Sex Goddess member library, where you have 10 video teachings and embodiment practices that you'll be going through in between our private coaching sessions together. You will be expected to complete those in between these sessions to get the full benefit of the program. And then the third part of the Sex Goddess program is help for your male partner. You and your male partner will be granted lifetime access to the How to Sexually Please a Woman member library. This has 3 modules of video content for him to learn all about you, your anatomy, foreplay, your anatomy of arousal, the erotic languages, and how to talk about sex in a fun, easy, and successful way. So this means that the work isn't all on you, hot mama. I know it always feels like a chore for women to do this work, and they're like, why can't he ever do anything, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not just you, and I understand that. So that is why I created this this program, How to Sexually Please a Woman, because it's like what I feel every man should have been taught in sex ed growing up and never got taught. So it is there for your partner to learn all the things about you, so that it's not just you working on this and your partner has some things to work on himself. The fourth component of Sex Goddess 2.0 is audio message support in between sessions. So you're going to be updating me on how your practices are going, what came up for you, and any questions you have about the work we've done together in session. It's also an opportunity to get reflections, coaching, and support in between when things come up between you and your partner that might be challenging, that you don't want to wait until we have our next coaching session for. So in addition to that core program, now through January 22nd, you will receive 4 Epic Sex New Year bonuses. You can go check out all of them on the page at the link in the show notes. But the one that is going to go away on January 1st is this. It is my Ignite Your Sexual Desire package. How anyone can create sexual desire, attraction, and chemistry and get the emotional connection they crave. What is included in this bonus that will go away on January 1st is a recorded touch test blueprint assessment so you and your partner learn how to turn each other on. This is one of my favorite things to have relationship partners do for each other when they are working on their sexuality, because this is where they begin to actually learn what their partner wants and likes, not just based on the psychological components, but the somatic components of like what their body actually responds to. So it's not like, oh, I have to figure out what I want and like, oh no, fuck. No, you're actually finding out what the body responds to. So you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. That's the best part about the touch test is you don't have to do anything but receive all sorts of different types of touches. And your partner is going to go through a process of determining, oh, these are the ways that she likes to be touched. These are the things that turn her on. So he's actually figuring out as he's doing it to you and vice versa. So when you do the touch test to him, you'll be figuring out all the things for him. You will receive a chemistry and connection building date night cheat sheet to craft fun and exciting dates that get you both in the mood. If you have struggled with implementing a weekly date night into your relationship, you need to stop everything you are doing and do it. You need to make this relationship goals 2023, and you need to begin to create a standing appointment every week with your partner to do date night. My partner and I have been doing it since we first met. It's been Thursday night for 2.5 years now. So we always know that we have that night set aside for just the two of us. And in the cheat sheet, you will be given ways to craft a date night that's fun and exciting. So it is not the same thing every time. So if you run out of ideas or you can't think of anything to do that's new and out of the box, you will have this cheat sheet to go to find something to do that will build chemistry and connection during your date night. You'll also receive the communication and connection prompt swipe file, date night prompt swipe file. This is conversation starters. So if you think of like, we're always together. I know everything about him. We've been together for 20, 30 years or whatever it is. You're like, well, what do we talk about? Well, I'm going to give you things to talk about. I'm going to give you a prompt swipe file that you can literally just download on your phone and have it there when you're on your date night. And you'll start asking each other all of these questions. So you are not talking about work and kids, because that is a surefire way for your date night to not be sexy, my love. So if you want your date night to lead to more chemistry, connection, and turn on and sexy time, then you don't get to talk about work and kids. You get to talk about the things that I give you in the swipe file. All right. The fourth part of the Ignite Your Desire package that goes away on January 1st is my self-care checklist to ensure you're taking care of your own needs and putting your pleasure first. It's more like a weekly assessment. So each week you will go through this and figure out for each day of the week, what is one thing I can do for self-care to ensure that I am not leaking my energy all over the place and I'm taking care of myself, to make sure that I'm not overgiving, I'm not people pleasing, all of the things. So if you struggle with self-care, you're going to have a weekly check-in with yourself. It's only going to take 10 minutes once a week, and you'll begin to create a list of self-care things that you will do each day to make sure you are putting yourself first. So that bonus goes away on January 1st. If you do not sign up and book the call and sign up for Sex Goddess 2.0 by January 1st, you will not get that bonus, my loves. You will get 3 others. The second bonus will go away January 8th. The third bonus will go away January 15th. And the fourth, which is the most epic and amazing one of all, will go away on January 22nd. So check it out. Head to the link in the show notes. I'm not going to go through all of them because it's so much amazing stuff, but head to link in show notes and you can book the call and apply. I know not right now is the most ideal time to be booking calls with me. I know it's Christmas and it's not quite the new year yet, but I want you to take stock of how important is this to you. You do not have to wait until the day after New Year's to make this a priority in your life. If you struggle with low libido and lack of desire, it would behoove you to go book that call before January 1st. I have plenty of times open, mainly because I do not have my kids during this time, so you're welcome. But you can book your call with me before January 1st. I think the last day to book calls is December 30th for this bonus. So head to the link in the show notes, book the call, and apply, and you will get the Ignite Your Desire package with me, and you will know exactly how you can create more chemistry and connection with your partner. All right, loves, thank you so much for joining me today, and go plug those energy leaks and apply for the program. All right, talk to you next week. Bye. Want to become an embodied sex goddess? Of course you do. Take the Sex Goddess quiz today and find out how. Click link in show notes or head to bit.ly/sex goddess quiz to get started.